In September 2013, the power sector was privatized, and we saw the birth of 11 generation companies, GenCos. Oh no, 6 generation companies. Why did I say 11? 6 generation companies, and 11 distribution companies were born out of that time. In other words, the power sector was basically broken down into these groups, and then got private investors to come in owning 60% of the shares of each of these companies. Now, the whole idea behind that was to see the power sector grow and blossom. So guess what? The Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, came up with a multi-year tariff order, a tariff system that is designed to be both cost-effective and to reward the efficient operator. Keyword, efficient operator. But in the midst of all of that, how efficient was the system that the operator was coming into? Was the operator coming in equipped enough to carry on that system and take it on to the next level? Why are we where we are now? We still have the issue of metering, tariffs, no power. I mean, Alera talked about 3 days without power. Oh, Alera, someone tweeted that they haven't had power for 7 days.
Oh, okay. And then so I shouldn't be complaining.
No, there are some areas that haven't seen power in years. But in all of that, estimated billing, proper billing systems, all of these conversations, meters, people are still concerned. But the government is also concerned about the whole system. So how do we move away from all of this? Well, in the studio today, we have players in the industry. Yes, players in the industry, and they will talk to us. Kola Balogun is the chairman, Mama's Electricity Meters Manufacturing Limited. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Also here is Sunday Oduton, Executive Director, Research and Advocacy, Association of Nigerian Electricity Distributors.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Okay, so I'll start off with you.
Yes.
So in 2013, you guys came on board.
Yes.
And Nigerians were hopeful. Indeed, I think a lot of people celebrated that period in the hope that generators, the sounds of generators would diminish.
Yes.
But years down the line, 5 years or thereabout down the line, the generators are still blaring. Yes. Why?
Thank you very much. Let's get it right. Number one, we didn't come in September 2013. We came in on the 1st of November 2013. That's not far from each other, but
okay.
Now, yes, there was a lot of hope.
That's when you came in.
November 1st, 2013, that was the day the privatization kicks off. With a lot of hope. But that hope was soon diminished because the government that sold the entities practically went back on every single word in the agreement that they signed. And let me start by saying that there's a need for Nigeria to change. And what the gentleman here earlier said, we need to sit back and look at the way we do things. Number one important thing...
music and recalibrate.
We need to recalibrate, yes. Number one thing is what we call sanctity of contract. The moment governments don't respect the sanctity of contract that they sign, every other thing will collapse. And we've been deceiving Nigerians for too long. It is now time for us to rethink and start telling Nigerians the truth. What happened? They said they wanted to sell. I've had some people, maybe out of mischief or ignorance, saying that they didn't pay for the entities or they didn't pay the right price. Let me confirm something today. Number one, the investor paid cash of $1.4 billion. Nigerian government took dollar, they didn't take naira. Dollar. How much is that in naira? 427 billion naira. That's number one. How was it structured? Like in any other country, we copied this thing from India. They call it 70% finance, 30% equity. Okay? No industrialist, no businessman does a whole business. My brother is there with his own cash. Even if you sell all your father's or your mother's houses, it cannot be enough to meet up with that. So you need to get bank and so which means from their own pocket, these gentlemen who are now in trouble haven't done this. They cough out $460 million cash, their own personal money. Out of that, $1.4 billion. The total is 427 billion naira. Now think, anybody who puts his money into this kind of business would not want that business to fail. So I need to correct the erroneous impression that the disco that I represent proudly and patriotically, that we are fighting with government or anybody in government. No, far from it. We are happy to be in partnership with the government. This is our own government anyway, and we prefer that the government succeeds, because the success of this government will be the success of our businesses. If the government fails, discos will fail. If disco fail, Genco will fail. If disco and Genco fail, most Nigerian banks will collapse. GTB, First Bank, Union Bank, name them, Zenith. Because for the disco that I represent, 11 of them, only one disco has foreign direct investment. Why? Because when Nigerian government went, they traveled all over the world looking for investors to come and invest in the sector. The government of Mr. Jonathan. They spend a lot of money going to different parts, capitals of the world. New York, London, Dubai, all over the world. The investors, the foreign investors, most of them refuse to come. You know why? They have had experience and they've seen people coming back from Nigeria with their fingers beaten, saying Nigerian government does not respect sanctity of contract. So we could not get foreign investors. So those who invested in the power sector, they were mainly Nigerians. And before we took over, agreements were signed. And the agreements are still there for anybody to see. It's a public document. In that agreement, government committed to doing certain things. About 5 things were listed. We will do this, we will do this as seller. And you as buyer must do X, Y, Z. So we do number 1 to 5, you do number 6 to 10. Your performance of 6 to 10 is conditional upon us doing 1 to 5. And I'll just briefly say some of it. Now, one of the things that they said they would do, we are handing over these entities that you have paid for. We'll make sure that from day 1, which is November 1, 2013, you will have what they call, like the gentleman earlier called it, cost reflective tariff. But let's keep it simple. That means simply mean appropriate price of the product. You know, electricity is like bread. Loaf of bread is not different. For you to eat bread, that bread that you buy from ShopRite or Mama Ngozi, that bread, somebody that was a farmer who grew wheat somewhere. There's a flour mill that turned that wheat into flour. And there's a baker who turned that flour into bread. And along the chain, there are transportation trucks that will take the bread from the bakery to the distributor or to the retail outlets. All those come at a cost. So by the time you now buy bread for 80 naira, that bread that you are buying for 80 naira, Mama Ngozi, who you are buying from, is not the owner of the whole 80 naira. Mama Ngozi is probably have only 3 naira or whatever, but it's not the owner of that 80 naira. If today in Lagos, we're in Keja now, if today in Lagos, the Lagos State Governor says, Mama Ngozi, you should be selling that bread. I don't want you to sell it to my people. My people, my people. I don't want you to sell bread to them at 80 naira per loaf. Sell it at 50 naira. Or sell it at 30 naira. Mama Ngozi says, okay, if I sell at 30 naira, what happened to the remaining 50 naira? I said, don't worry, we'll come back to that. I'll sort it out. That was exactly what was done in the case of the power sector. And what do I mean?
Just a moment.
Yes.
You had an agreement that you would sell it at...
That they will give us, they are the one fixing the price. It's a regulated sector where...
Yeah, but you agreed to that, didn't you?
We agreed to appropriate pricing, the actual price.
Okay.
And they ended up giving us prices that was lower than the actual. On the pretense that they will look at it again, they will do something about it. They didn't even stop at that.
You don't, in your agreement doesn't allow you to take them to court for that?
Oh, we are in court on several cases along the line. We started with negotiating with the government that revisit this. But to make matters worse, early in 2015, because that government, they wanted to win an election, they also did their own magic by freezing what we call R2. R2 class are the residential customers all over the country. Doing that alone brought billions of naira in terms of shortfall. So we have a lot of regulatory somersault that happened between 2013 to date. And in 2015, a new government came to power. And we thought that new government, like new water, will be new fresh air and they will do things rightly. Unfortunately, most of those things, especially regarding these regulatory inconsistencies, has continued unabated. But let me give one credit. The new government had managed somehow to improve the situation. The situation today in the power sector from 2013 to date has improved from where we are coming from. Like talking about generation, at least we got to a point of 5,222 megawatts or thereabout. What we have never done in anything over that. And when I talk about generation, for us at Disco, we are talking about what goes into your home, what Neotac will actually see in his sitting room, not capacity, potential, or ability. A student can have the potential to make a first class, but when a student now makes a 2-2, you don't say he has made the first class, he has only made 2-2, but he has the potential, maybe he was sleeping. You know, that kind of thing. So what we are saying, we are not out to name, claim, or blame people or anybody. It's not even a personality thing. What we are saying is let us put Nigeria first. Let us see how we can make this thing right.
Okay.
People are talking about metering. People need to understand, why don't we have meters?
Okay.
You cannot come to undersell a product and expect efficiency.